Right, good morning. It's 7 o'clock. It's Thursday, which is the wrong day, you know what I like for fishing. We're out today.
I was here first.
He was there first, yeah. Yeah, look at him. Yeah, he's here as well.
Morning.
We've also got a gentleman here from BBC Radio Northampton, because we're going to be going on air. And here we go, look. Go on, get yourself in. There we go.
That's really bright, can I just say?
Well, I've got to see you, haven't you? But it's a bit dark. But yeah, it's a bit dark. We're going to have a quick go here. Not long, because unfortunately it's a school day. But we'll catch you again in a bit.
How many active members have you got?
Well, my group's sort of me and Aaron. That's it. But we meet up with other groups, you see.
Yeah.
So every weekend there's usually 5 or 6 of us that meet up. One from Yorkshire, some from Birmingham, and we just meet up all over the place. But we had a collab last year raising money for cancer research, and we had 254 people turn up.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it was a nice clean stretch of water when we finished.
Oh, look.
Oh, USB memory stick. And you always makes you wonder why there's a USB memory stick in there. That's about 25 I've had out of here now. So
Yeah.
makes you wonder.
Yes.
So those track explosives, where would they go now?
Please. What did you do with yours last time, Dave?
Sorry?
What did you do with your track explosives last time?
Last time, the police. They came and met us over
The
the
last time I had them here, we couldn't do anything with them, so I put them back at the train yard. Because they're their responsibility.
Yeah,
And the thing is, that was during lockdown. Didn't want to know, did they?
No.
Well, of course.
So we bagged them up and put them back where they belong.
We left them here with the grenade when the bomb
they
squad
left them.
came, and they left them there. Oh, there we go. That was the Canal fine money that was raised at the collab.
Talk about the canal and rivers.
Over £300 worth of pennies and twos,
Jesus.
Well, I've had this morning.
and our mate cleaned them up.
He's not our mate anymore.
No.
Now, do you fish? What's the most unusual thing you've caught? It's not something I've done. My brother's very keen. Last week, you heard how a group of magnet fishers found 6 Second World War machine guns in the canal at Weedon Depot, which caused a bit of a storm. It's a hobby that's growing. Tom's spending the morning with the people who found those this morning. Good morning.
Yeah, morning Liz. Welcome down to the Northampton arm of the Grand Union Canal. We're just west of Northampton town centre. Toaster Road is over my right shoulder. The disused part of the railway line heading south from Northampton station runs over a bridge that's just a couple of metres away from me, and almost in its shadow are 3 gentlemen from Northants Magnet Fishing, pulling all manner of stuff already out of the canal using magnets. I mean, I almost pictured like an electromagnet, the kind of thing that you'd see in a Wile E. Coyote cartoon. But these magnets are about the size of, I don't know, a paperweight, but very heavy and can pull an enormous weight of stuff. They're very powerful. And so we've come down with the group to one of the places that they fish fairly regularly to see the kind of stuff that we can find and to talk about what I guess is so fascinating about pulling parts of our industrial heritage out of waterways. Nigel Lamford's the man that you spoke to last week, Liz, and he's my host for the morning. Morning, Nigel.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Thanks for having me. And as we stand here, there's you and your members standing right beside the waterway, kind of just beside the towpath. There are tripods and cameras set up because you film all this for YouTube.
We do, yes. Yep.
And it's the kind of thing that I can imagine people have a real passion for when they watch videos of it, because you're seeing almost like archaeology, it feels like, in a way.
It's the unknown. That's what fascinates people, not knowing what's coming up. And, you know, when you do a video, people are sitting there eager, you get a good title and think, what's he found, what's he found? And it is exciting, yeah.
I mean, you're there in a cap with a GoPro camera on the peak of the cap. So is that running as well?
Not yet, no, because it's a bit dark. But no, when the stuff comes out of the water, you can't get a better perspective than what I see.
Yeah.
So I can mix that into the videos, and it's like people are on the journey with you.
Absolutely. How did all this begin for you?
For me, a friend of mine asked me to come and have a go with it about probably 4 years ago now, and I just looked at him really strange and said, why would I want to do that? But I went to the pub one day and I saw a couple of people doing it, and I got to talk to him, and I just thought I'd have a go. And I don't know, I only got bits of rubbish, but I got this sort of urge to do it. So straight into Amazon, bought some magnets. The next day, me and my son went out. We found a BMX and a sawn-off shotgun, and that was it. You know, after that, I couldn't stop.
Wow, I mean that's a nice combo stuff, fine, isn't it? Is it expensive to get cracking with?
You can get started for as little, really. I will say £40. You can go cheaper, but the problem is with that, you're buying cheap magnets that will disappoint you. But £40, you get yourself a nice branded magnet, and away you go. But then you can go silly. You can go to the extremes of us. You're over £300 on a magnet. But it depends how far you want to go, how big you want to go.
Because I guess, you know, the bigger, the heavier, the more powerful the magnet, the heavier the stuff you can pull
That's
out.
it, because the
It
heavier...
limits then how strong you are, I guess.
We've got Aaron, we're okay. We've got the crane.
Is that his nickname?
Yeah, that's the crane. So, yeah, the heavier the magnet, the further it sinks into the ground, which makes it better because you're digging in the silt. The deeper you dig, the more history you're finding.
Okay, so the stuff that we're pulling out of the canal this morning, it's not just kind of sitting on the bed of the foot of the canal.
It'll
right
be
down
in the silt,
in
yeah.
it.
Yep.
Okay, what have we found so far?
We've got some scaffolding. Wherever you go, you find scaffolding. And we've got some track detonators, which we used on the train lines to warn people that trains are coming. They will explode, so they will be called into the police and dealt with.
So these are... how they're about the size of the kind of centre cap you might find on an alloy wheel.
Yep, that's it.
And then the closer that a train gets, the louder the bang. So it warns the engineers that
they were different colours. So you had like 3 primary colours, and obviously one's quiet, one's louder, and one's really loud, and that warns them that they're literally just round the corner, just so they can get off the lines.
And so, why would they wind up in a waterway?
There used to be a yard down there where they stored all the things for repairing the trains and the tracks, and I would say some little kids decided to borrow a box of them and chuck them all in there, and this is probably about 500 of these that have come out of here now.
Because you fish here fairly regularly, right?
It's about the 5th time. Did do, yeah. We only did this because it's local and things like that, but it's not a place that we'd normally come back to yet, because you tend to find canals not so much, rivers change all the time because of the flow of the water. It does change.
Yeah.
So, but it was worth a go, and it's paying as usual.
And the riverbed in a river almost kind of turns over, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
Rotates. And do you know, I'm recalling a time I went to Kettering a few years back, and I was with someone who was litter picking along a water course, and he said the churn of the earth would kind of spit crisp packets out of the side of a riverbed almost, and you can see
it probably would,
you can see an old salt and vinegar Golden Wonder crisp packet sticking out of the side of the earth about a foot below the actual ground level. And he said that's the problem, is that riverbeds, verges, all sorts, will almost swallow rubbish up, and then they're kind of spinning.
That's it, and constantly changes.
And so
last weekend.
So I mean, we talked to you last week about the machine guns. Other odd things that you found?
Cannonball.
That'll do it.
Yep, they found a cannonball at a castle that's not there anymore. There's just a stone, but it was one where Mary Queen of Scots was beheaded.
Oh, Fotheringhay.
It was, yes.
Yeah.
There we go. So that came from there. But it's just not knowing. You just don't know what's coming next, and that's what keeps you going.
Absolutely. Can I have a crack?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, okay. Well, I'm going to start fishing, Liz. It'll be the most productive morning of fishing I've ever had. I went fishing for actual fish with my next door neighbour when I was about 12 years old. Didn't catch diddly. That's not going to happen today, is it?
No, I think you'll get something. But what remains to be seen. Good luck, Tom. We'll catch up with you in a bit. Now, meanwhile, back at the canal, Tom has got a big magnet and has gone fishing.
It literally does what it says on the tin, doesn't it? Magnet fishing with the group that we spoke to last week when they pulled 6 old machine guns out of the canal at Weedon Depot. Liz, this is Northants Magnet Fishing. You can find a YouTube channel. They're all wearing hoodies with the name on the back of them, and so, I mean, their stuff becomes enormously popular, particularly the videos that they shoot of the things that they find. Quick update: I've just pulled my first track explosive out of the canal. Those things I mentioned earlier on that we used as safety devices for engineers working on the railway lines, where if a train ran over them, it would set off a small charge and let you know that there was a train just around the corner and you needed to get out of the way. But there's a number of other things besides. Now, we spoke to Nigel earlier on, Nigel Lamford. His colleague who helps to run the group is Aaron Smith. Good morning.
Good morning.
How did you get into this as a hobby then?
My son, who was 12 at the time, not the Christmas just gone, the Christmas 21, he had watched some YouTube videos and he wanted a magnet. Being an old school friend of Nigel, I spoke to Nigel. What do I need? What do I buy him? Nigel gave me all the advice, and Last January, I brought my lad down with his magnet to fish with Nigel at Bridge 14, just down the road from where we are now.
Yeah.
My lad found a BlackBerry phone, a till drawer, and we were breaking the ice that morning, and he got really, really cold by about 11 o'clock. So I took him home to warm up. He didn't want to go, but he had to go. And I got home and my wife said to me, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I've got to go back." And since that moment, I came back and I threw in my first magnet, and I've been out every weekend with Nigel, and I cannot stop.
What's got you hooked?
The unknown, just the feeling of the magnet in the water, clunking onto something, and it's just the buzz and the complete break away from normal life. You're on a canal path with you and a magnet and friends.
And I suppose, I mean, the last couple of years, any opportunity any of us have had to kind of unplug from the real world has been a welcome thing, hasn't it? So
100%. To be out when you couldn't go out anywhere, it probably emphasised the hobby for me.
Because I guess, I mean, except for the start of the first lockdown, we were allowed to do stuff outdoors, socially distanced, say with one other person, weren't we? And so this was something you could carry on doing. Yeah,
and at that time, that's why I was fishing with Nigel, because he couldn't travel with his normal group that he meets with. So I was the local user, if you like, because we could go out together.
And do you know what I mean? So you were saying just before we came on air, so you and Nigel have known each other for, well, decades.
Yes.
And you both work in the motor trade.
Correct.
But when you're down here doing this, you don't talk about cars at all.
Not
Is that
at all.
like a conscious choice, or does it just not occur to you to do it?
Just doesn't happen. It's just you're focusing on the magnet and your hobby and the time you're spending away from everything else.
I love the thing about the first things that you found. Nigel said it was a BMX and a short sawn-off shotgun.
Yeah.
You were a BlackBerry mobile phone and a till drawer.
Yeah.
The first interesting things that you yourself found with a magnet.
My first probably historic proper memory would be a pair of tweezers that I've got, which are from World War II for removing shrapnel from war wounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did you find those?
They were the first time we went to Whedon.
Okay.
In the Ordnance Depot. So that was about a year ago when we first went there. But just the fact that they're keeper, you haven't got to hand them in because there's not a weapon or anything like that. So you've got some history you can keep.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I mean, things like, the track explosives that we found, they're not like grenades, they're pretty small, but they have to go to the police.
100%.
Grenades, if you find those, you're talking about the engineers, the army. I'm guessing if you find something pretty nasty, then roads are closed and all sorts.
100%. I had an 18-pound artillery shell in Birmingham and shut the train lines between New Street and Moore Street Station. I could show you that, but I got an email that I sent to the police saying, here's the picture of it, because they almost didn't believe, but they had to take it serious. And once they'd received the email, we had 11 police cars in about 20 seconds.
And, I mean, on the one hand, are the authorities grateful because it's better to find this stuff than have it sit there and potentially go off?
I've never had a bad experience with the authorities. On that particular time in Birmingham, a police officer came running down the canal path, and I thought, he's got the ump. And he was like, "I watch you guys on YouTube," and he was shell shocked that he got to meet us. And it was.
So he was fanboying, while on duty.
100%, yeah, incredible.
I love that. So they don't mind that you find this thing, because I was just wondering, do they sort of, oh no, the magnet fishers are back? Are we going to have to close the town centre?
There's been that kind of an issue in Leicester because Leicester got heavily done, but me and Nigel have never experienced that. But then. We have the experience, if you like, of how to deal with it properly. You ring them up, you tell them what you've got. We've already moved the explosive away from the canal side. We've already got it in a bucket of water. It's about how you deal with it. And when you then speak to the authorities and you've dealt with it properly, they know it's easy for them because you've done the hard work already.
Yeah, and you're being professional about it.
Exactly.
That's the important thing. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming down and joining me. Shall we crack on?
100%.
Let's crack on. I'll be back later, Liz.
My favourite question, asking a magnet fisherman what got you hooked. I love that. More from Tom a bit later.
So Aaron's gone and found some shotgun barrels on his last pull because he's running off now.
This bridge always gives on the last throw, doesn't it?
Yeah, it did that blooming grenade.
Forward to hearing that tomorrow on the breakfast programme. For now, I am down by the canal just south of Northampton town centre. Liz, I can see the buildings of the St James retail park. just on the far side of the bank from where I'm standing, adjacent to a disused railway bridge that would have run south from Northampton Station. And we are here with the Magnet Fishing Group, and they are fishing all manner of stuff out of the canal using magnets about the size of a paperweight. They're pretty heavy. I was having a go earlier on and pulled out a track explosive that you'd use to warn railway engineers of an oncoming train. And as dog walkers and various other canal users toddle past in the morning, they're all looking at us and wondering what on earth we are doing. I'm with a man, you heard him talk just now about incredulity, about Yorkshire puddings. Dave Jordan, good morning.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. Now, I do just need to comment on your appearance, Dave, because you have a vivid blue Mohican,
Yeah.
and you are wearing blue waterproof trousers and a Sonic the Hedgehog hoodie, and your nickname is Sonic.
Yes.
I have many questions. I'd probably just sum them up with one word. Why?
Well, I've got ADHD and I've got blue hair, so they landed on the nickname Sonic. So I changed the last letter to a K instead of a C, so we didn't get sued. But
Good move.
I'm pretty much ever since I started my channel and been called Sonic, everybody started giving me blue stuff to wear, so it's just evolved from here. Everything that happens now is just run away from me. I can't stop it.
So you have a wardrobe of blue, and this monster has been created,
Yep.
and you just have to serve it.
And my mum buys me socks, but I'm not allowed to wear them on the canal side.
These are for best. These
Yeah.
are best Sonic.
Yeah.
How did you get started with magnet fishing?
Well, I bought my magnet about 8 years ago. It was because we used to watch a TV programme, and it was about mudlarking, and it had two guys on there. One of them was Johnny Vaughan, and they done an episode on, they went to a little canal somewhere in a little village. They pulled out a few bits, nothing great, but it showed me what it can be done. So I bought my magnet 8 years ago, and there wasn't a lot of people doing it. And to be honest, my partner, as much as she loves coming with me and stuff, she hasn't got the same enthusiasm as I have. So
Yeah.
I found myself being Billy No Mates, and I put my magnet down for a little while. And then I started getting it out again, and I found people on YouTube, and they were doing it and filming it and stuff. So I went out with a few people from YouTube, and I joined the group. And since then I've started my own channel, and everybody wants to see more of what I'm pulling out. So it's just evolved.
And I suppose I can understand why people would be fascinated with watching it, even if it wasn't something that they would necessarily go and do themselves, because there's something about our industrial heritage with this, isn't there? And the stuff that's all around us, but we've got no idea it's there.
It's crazy. You don't know until you put your magnet in. You can turn up at a place and it be absolutely clean, and you've got to have a plan B in your mind. Just like, if this bit ain't paying out, then we're going to move down. But generally, you put your magnet in, you'll find a few bits. If nothing else, we're clearing the rubbish out of the environment. And as you see from my channel, it's Adventures with Sonic. You see, it's with friends, so we've always got different people popping in and out, and we're always doing a litter pick, and we clean up the whole area. I can't stand putting my magnet in and seeing the rubbish all around. It does me head in. So I litter pick the whole area, leave the whole area better than you found it.
And Aaron touched on this earlier on, a friend of yours, when we spoke to him at 10 to 8, when he said that for him it's as much about the solitude and the calmness and unplugging your brain from daily life as it is about the stuff that you actually find. Is that the case for you?
Well, yes. It's very different. Sometimes I go out with a bunch of friends, and it's about being with them.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you can find good stuff, but it's really about spending your time with your mates.
Yeah.
When I go out on my own and I'm filming my own, then I'm more in tune with finding the stuff. So yeah, it's something about being on your own by the water, just doing what you want to do. There's nothing else that gets in the way.
Yeah.
Life, whatever happened last week doesn't happen when you're out by the canal.
First remarkable find you had magnet fishing.
Well, the first time I ever went out, this was 8 years ago, I was at a bridge not so far up the canal from here, and I found a clip of three 303 bullets.
So this would have been a Lee Enfield rifle or something like that, yeah.
So I took them home, I've called the police, and they've come and got them, and it got me hooked. It was just like the first thing I found was these. I mean, I was always finding lock keys and all sorts of stuff like that. You give them back to the Canal users and stuff, and it's great to know that what you're pulling out is being reused.
Absolutely.
But definitely bullets just hooks you straight away.
Yeah,
Straight
and you
away.
can see why. I mean, it should be said, you don't just kind of take the stuff home, like you said. The police get called, or occasionally bomb disposal. Scrap metal will go off to scrap metal dealers,
Yeah.
so it all gets repurposed. But
Oh,
I guess going back to your previous point, it's about taking it out of the natural environment, putting it back where it's meant to be to begin with.
Well, that's it. And I run my business, and I do restorations and all sorts. So where I find my hammers, I take them home, I clean them all up, and I've got a friend that runs a market stall, and he's all into his tools and stuff. And he comes round and he gives me a little bit of pin money for them, and then they go off and get used again.
We're going to have to wrap up, but just in one word, the next Sonic item that you're looking to buy.
Oh, well, it's...
We should paint your face or something, Dave.
we should do,
Do you
yeah.
think? I'll leave you with that idea. It's good to see you. Thanks ever so much. Dave, aka Sonic with a K. So go on YouTube, you can find his channel. That's Dave Jordan. And I'm going to get back magnet fishing, Liz. I'll come back to you at 10 to 9.
Okay, lovely. Look forward to it.
Right, so obviously with all the radio thing going on, haven't you showed me fine, so I'll show you now. I've got an old paint can. Obviously you saw them Aaron shotgun barrels. Got a bit of fencing, very similar to what's behind us there. Got a track bolt and a track clip. Bit of bar. And you got it. Scaff tube. Wherever you go, you get a bit of scaff tube. Got some track clips. And got some more track clips, look. Ah, it's a coupling link. That means that's probably a coupling chain. There we go. That's a coupling link that would join the train carriages together.
Oh, Aaron was talking about
Yeah, it's a safety chain.
Yeah, there's usually a set of 3. I've
Yep.
got one in my back garden.
That's probably what's down there then. Yeah. Well, that's what they call a coupling link.
Link.
There's a lot of weight to them. But like I said, they normally come in 3s.
Yeah. Oh, quite, yeah.
So, bit of rebar. And a train coupling link. Heavy old things then. There we go, so we've got like an old Victorian fence topper. Another track clip. Another bit of bar. And yeah, another track clip. And a spring. Part of an old headlight, an old bike. Piece of a purse. I've got an old padlock. Somewhere down there's the key, because Aaron found the key, but I've got a padlock there. It's got an old geared cog off something. Got a square nut. USB memory stickers. Remember before we found loads of these here.
There's another one.
Right, another one.
Another trackie.
And 48 track explosives. Oop. Whoops. Yeah, loads of track explosives. Again, always at this bridge. It's his fault.
No, I didn't put them in there.
Put them in your pocket and jump up and down.
No, you're right.
It's a very irresponsible thing to do. Really, don't put them in your pocket and jump up and down. We're only messing around, because you know that's what we always do. Dave said I weren't allowed to find any more of these because the tin's full, but sorry Dave, I found another one.
Now, Tom has been down on the riverbank doing something a little bit different, haven't you, this morning?
Yeah, I have. With the Northants magnet fishing. group. You had them on the programme a week ago, didn't you, Liz? They did fish over in the Canal at Weedon Depot, the old Royal Ordnance site, and found World War II era machine guns, half a dozen of them, along with lots of other interesting stuff. And you'd kind of expect it somewhere like that because it's private land, so access is restricted, and of course it's got, you know, a long and very distinguished industrial and military heritage. But you can still find interesting items just out on the public waterways. You join us beside the Grand Union Canal, the Northampton arm of it. We're just south of Northampton town centre in the shadow of a railway bridge on the disused part of the line as it runs south from Northampton station. Over the course of the morning, we have found what looks like a rusted old paint tin, a double-barreled shotgun barrels, not the whole gun, mercifully, an enormous section of chain that would be used to link together railway carriages, and on the subject of the railways, a box full of tiny little explosives that would be used as warning devices to, well, tell railway engineers that were working on the track that there was an oncoming train. This all feels to me pretty remarkable, but I'm guessing Nigel Lamford from Magnet Fishers, from the Northamptonshire group, this is just standard stuff for you.
Normal day.
Is that, I mean, because you just said, oh, it's another one of these, oh, it's another one of these. I'm guessing when you've done it for so long, the threshold for you of what's remarkable is quite high.
Everything still gives you a buzz, but it's to what level. You know, like I say, with these detonators, we've found over 500 of them at this particular spot. But when you find something
500?
Yeah, over 500 of these now from this one bridge.
And each of them is quite small, but put together, that's quite a lot of explosive.
Yes, it's going to definitely make a big bang. These
are they safe to be around?
They're not like a grenade, you know. I mean, you still got to be careful. Anything explosive, you still got to treat with respect. But obviously, it's not like a bomb or a grenade, because with that, it's literally put it down and get away from it. These, on their own, yes, they would hurt you if one went off in your hand, but not to the degree of what a grenade, because it's designed for a small explosion, not to maim people, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Now, you were saying just before you went on there that occasionally, because you have a lot of people who watch your videos on YouTube and things like that, so your highest number of views on one of your videos?
Just under 600,000.
Which is huge. So, and then you do live streams.
Yes,
don't
we
you?
do.
I suppose the danger with a live stream is that you don't know what you're going to pull out, and sometimes it's not necessarily broadcastable.
No, it's more to the end of the day when we're just winding down. You know, the subscribers like to see you, they like to see the real you. And I mean, on every Friday night we do a live stream as well, which we started doing lockdown because we couldn't fish. So we started doing lives on a Friday, and they've just gone a little bit crazy. We do game shows, we drop in on people, we just do really random stuff, and it's just craziness. But I was going to stop doing it, but everybody loves it. So on a Friday night, people just come along, we have a laugh, we make people like Dave do taste tests, and we got him eating all sorts of things, and we get people putting their face in dog food, anything for a laugh. So yeah, we are quite a crazy bunch, but you know, we like to do something different, and that's what we do. We interview people from all around the world on there. And
I suppose the thing is, for someone with a hobby that's growing in popularity, generally you'd say, well, the more people that are doing it, the better. But I wonder for you whether you almost just want to kind of keep it to yourself, because the more people who do it, almost you risk making it less fun for each individual.
It is. It's getting harder. There is more people doing it, but at the end of the day, the goal is to get the rubbish out of the water. So, you know, if it runs out, it runs out. But you've got to remember, it's always refilling, because we've been to places so many times and there's still more stuff put in there because people use the waterways as a tip.
Yeah. And that's the depressing thing,
yep,
isn't it? And I know when we spoke to Dave earlier on, he was talking about litter picking wherever he goes. The Canal and River Trust, I'm sure, appreciate the fact that, you know, you're pulling hunking great chunks of metal out of the waterways. Well,
that is a mixed reaction with the Canal River Trust, because theoretically there is a bylaw that says it's illegal to move anything from the water. But we are formed a committee. We are working with them to try and get it legalised. I mean, they don't really like you doing it, but they don't stop you doing it. But we're trying to get it legalised for everybody to, you know, make it more enjoyable, to stop people worrying about it.
And I suppose there's the difference between stealing the metal that you need to operate a lock gate and removing explosives.
Exactly, yes. I think that's one of their main concerns. It's water safety, dangers at the side of the water, pulling out explosives. If you shut down a road in a busy area, they could be sued for loss of earnings and things like that. So we're working with them to try and, you know, come to a mutual ground that's going to suit us all.
Absolutely. Now, if people want to find you on YouTube, where can they do it?
Go onto YouTube, search Northampton Magnet Fishing. You'll find it on there. I mean, we've got, it's over 400 videos now, and you'll see some of the antics we get up to. there is a lot of fishing, but there is a lot of craziness as well. But you know, once you get to know us, you'll see that's us. We don't take things too seriously. We just want to have a laugh, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, you say you don't take things too seriously. We've been fishing all morning with a man with a blue mohawk and a Sonic the Hedgehog hoodie
you
on.
Take that as seriously?
If that's about as serious as it gets, then we're fine. It's good to spend the morning with you.
I really
Thanks ever so
appreciate
much.
you dropping in.
No, my pleasure. I've enjoyed it. Good to see you. Nigel and his colleagues from Northants Magnet Fishers, and go and check out their YouTube channel. Crazy numbers of views, and I've just got the picture of, he has a GoPro camera on the peak of his cap, Liz. So as stuff comes out of the water, he sees it, you see it at the same time.
Oh, well, I've had a look at some of their pictures on Twitter and some of the stuff that they share, and it's quite something. I can imagine why it becomes quite addictive, and you just keep going back, because you never know, do you, what you're going to get each time you try it.
We've just had a cash box, an old cash box from a BT phone box came out in about the past 15 minutes. It was empty, but nevertheless,
you checked.
It's just remarkable. This is Northampton. Yes. I looked thoroughly. You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Tom.
Awesome.
Oh, there we go. It was short, it was sweet, but the radio wanted to come and have a fish, so he came down. Lovely bloke. We had fun. Got old Sonic in the background there.
Morning.
According to the radio, he's now part of Northants Magnet Fishing, but I can assure you, I'd make him have pink hair, not blue. But anyway, always fun. We were going out with Dave. Aaron was here early. He had to shoot off, but we're done now. So as it's Thursday, I better go and do some work. Thanks for joining, and I don't know what day I'm going to put this up, so we'll catch you again. Thanks a lot. Say bye, Dave.
Thomas. Tom.
Yes.
Tom. I had one job to do for this 2 weeks, Tom. Annabelle left me strict instructions about managing Lenny and about, keeping you in order and all of those things. And then what happens yesterday, Tom? After you go out? What happens?
Oh, is this this is the magnet fishing thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Northamptonshire Police on Facebook and Twitter.
Yes.
At 9:50, this was yesterday, at 9:50 a.m. this morning, police officers were called to Toaster Road, Northampton, following reports that a man magnet fishing had pulled up a number of track explosives. There was a controlled explosion carried out on Far Cotton Wreck at 2:20.
Yeah, I saw that.
And there's been lots of comments about this, Tom. And where were you yesterday, and what were you doing?
Yeah, I was magnet fishing near Toaster Road, funnily enough, Liz.
You were, weren't you?
Do you think the two things might have been linked?
I think there's a chance, isn't there? There's a chance. Explain yourself, please.
Shall I explain?
Yes.
Yeah, so there is a serious side to this. So yesterday, if you weren't listening, I was out with Northants Magnet Fishers. They are a group of pretty experienced, long-term magnet fishermen, and you go out to a canal or to a river with a socking great magnet, and you can use it to pull all kinds of interesting things out of the river. Amongst the things that we pulled out yesterday were these things called track explosives. They're the size of almost the centre cap from an alloy wheel, a bit larger than a 50p, and they're a disc, and they've got a very small amount of explosive in them. And in the past, railway engineers would lay them on the track when they were working further up the line, so that when a train was coming, it would roll over them, you'd hear a bang, and it would tell them that a train was coming. So, they don't have a huge amount of explosive in them or anything, but if you get lots and lots of them, then that can be an issue. And so for magnet fishers, the kind of golden rule is, if you find anything explosive or any kind of weapon, you contact the police, and then you leave it for them, for the experts, to decide what to do with it. And so on this occasion, we pulled not a huge number of these things out by any means, but there were some. And so just after I left, the team that I was with yesterday rang Northamptonshire Police. Northamptonshire Police spoke to the relevant experts, and so some explosives experts decided that they would come down, take them to Far Cotton Wreck, and dispose of them securely. And so that's what happened. But just to put it in context, the people I was with yesterday said that over the course of a few years, they've pulled something in the region of about 500 of these things out of the Northampton arm of the Grand Union Canal, just around the bridge that I was at yesterday. 500, Liz. I mean, yesterday we got maybe 16. 20.
Still a lot.
If that.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
so it just shows you the breadth of things that there are. And, you know, they found mortar shells in waterways before and things like that. So if you find this stuff and you are a hobbyist, then the important thing is that you do the right thing and you tell the police. And he did also say that they have started groups up so that novices, people coming to it for the first time, who might find things and not know what they are, can put up a picture of them, have them identified and dealt with appropriately, rather than taking potentially dangerous things home with them. So it's important that people do the right thing and do tell the authorities.
It is, yes. Okay. Well, hopefully that's cleared that up. We've had a few messages, haven't we? One or two, a few bits on Twitter.
I had a few. I had a few people tweeting me yesterday saying basically Annabelle disappears for 2 weeks and the police are called to deal with explosives.
Yeah.
So yes, okay. My reputation clearly precedes me.
194 comments on this, 123 shares, and 482. Different likes and things on that. So thanks, Tom. My last day sitting in for Annabelle and the forms that we've had to fill in. Yeah, thanks for that. So today, hopefully, nothing quite so controversial in that sense. Something very important that you're doing today, but nothing to do with the police. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we're not going to have to get bomb disposal people to come out.
Somebody at the door.
That would be a help, wouldn't it? Yeah, there is. That's
it's not Nick Adderley, is it?
Did you hear that as well? Yes. Where's the bomb? No.